It's time now for a look latest in local news. In the news, the big news is the 41-year drought is over. The Georgia Bulldogs are national champions of college football, beating Alabama Monday night 33-18 as the mailman takes home the offensive MVP, throwing 2 touchdown passes to lead the Dogs to victory. Have more on the game in sports, but the celebration is on. Big parade set for Saturday in Athens, Georgia. Locally in the news, qualifying underway for the 2 special elections, which will take place here in March on county boards, one on the county commission, one on the Odom City Council. Qualifying period ends this Wednesday at 12 noon, with the election set for March. On Monday, Jamie Hicksox qualified to run for the county seat, left vacant by her husband, Ralph Hicksox, who's now the mayor of Jesup. WIFO FM able to talk with her as she qualified Monday morning about her running for the county commission position.
Bob, it is all about Wayne County. It's about the people, it's about the children, it's about the money, it's about hope. I believe Wayne County is got the better days ahead of it, and I think the world we live in is changing, and I think people are ready to get more involved in their government. I believe it's a real good thing.
How long have you been thinking about this? Your husband just left that seat a couple months ago. Did you decide then, or when did this decision come about?
It came about when Ralph vacated that seat. I've been going to those meetings since Ralph was elected originally 7.5 years ago. I've regularly attended those meetings, and it was originally to support Ralph. And then through those meetings, I fell in love with the community. I fell in love with the people. And you can see places in our government where you can engage and maybe help improve the path that we're on.
Well, you said you attend those meetings, so you know as well as anybody there's been a lot of 3-2 votes, and Ralph was always in the minority, Kevin McCreary. So if you get elected, how do you see things changing, or will be the same?
I see the people involved in their government. I don't think it's about 3-2. I think it is about doing the next right thing. And if people will engage with their elected officials and let them know exactly where they stand on the issues, maybe that will help guide everybody to a 5-0 vote.
Everybody has an agenda for running, so if you get elected, what do you see? What are some things you want to see done?
I want very much to see a community center. That's huge. I want to see some financial transparency. I think it needs to be easy for citizens to go and find not only revenues, but expenses. I think the budget needs to be user-friendly. I think people should know where their money's going. When you tell somebody, oh, we're operating on a $27 million budget, they're like, whoa, they just can't even comprehend all those zeros. You got to break it down to where people can go, oh, I understand.
If you get elected, you have to run again in November. Are you ready for that?
You have no choice. It's just what it is. I'm 50 years old, and I have a limited amount of time that I think I can really serve and give back to my community. And if it's one cycle, just this special election, then that's what it is. I will rerun for November. If it's 2, if it's 3, but it's about the community. It's about serving. As long as the people want their neighbors serving with them, I'll be right there with them.
Okay. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
And once again, those are the comments of Jamie Hicksox, candidate for County Commissioner in District 5. Qualifying ends this Wednesday at 12 noon. Again, no one else qualified on Monday. Election set for March 15th. The person who wins the special election will be up for re-election in November, as this year's county seats 1, 3, and 5 are up for re-election in November. Those seats currently held by Chairman Herschel Hires in Seat 1, Mike Robertson, District 3, and again, Seat 5 currently vacant. Also, there's a special election City of Odom to fill the vacancy left by Samantha Griffiths. Qualifying for that is also taking place this week. So far, no one's qualified to run for that position. Again, qualifying ends this Wednesday at 12 noon. Early voting will begin February 21st and run up until March the 11th, again, with the election set for March the 15th. We'll be back with more news after this word from our sponsor, other commercial messages, so please stay tuned. In other news, Chamber of Commerce held its annual Eggs and Issues breakfast this past Monday. We had a chance to catch up with our state representatives and get their thoughts on this year's legislative session. Today we'll hear from State Representative Stephen Meeks, who had these comments.
It is. Good morning, Bob, and we'll have a busy session this year. We'll see a host of issues coming up. Obviously, being a political year, politics will drive some of it, but I'm hopeful that we can stay focused on things impacting Georgia and keep Georgia as the #1 state to do business. AAA bond rating now many years in a row, and hope we can pass good legislation that will keep us in that manner. In light of that, we'll likely see some constitutional carry legislation to come through. The governor announced earlier this week that he'll be supporting something along those lines, and we've also got another initiative that the governor's put out there that we will see, which allows producers and farmers of fruit and vegetables to tap into local food banks. Regional food banks for many years have been able to access money from the U.S. Department of Agriculture Food Assistance Program known as TFAP. We have never had enabling legislation since that legislation was passed by the federal government. So I'm going to be carrying some legislation offered by the governor to amend Georgia code to make it more palatable for small growers to be able to access food banks and sell some of their product to those food banks.
Blake says the budget's in pretty good shape. Your thoughts on the budget, and y'all are concerned about the agriculture issues. So anything on the agriculture front we need to know about?
Well, but budget is always the #1 priority. We have to do is the one thing constitutionally, and Senator Tillery is right. Budget's in good shape right now, but we've got a large influx of federal money that's come into the state, and the good thing is we've got great financial stewards of taxpayer money at the helms of both the Senate and House appropriation bills, with Chairman Terry in the House and Chairman Tillery in the Senate. But we will continue to budget conservatively. Obviously, the governor has made a commitment to fulfill his $5,000 pay raise to school teachers, and there's $2,000 remaining in that commitment. So that'll be one thing that we'll be looking at within the budget. But when it comes to agriculture, Bob, the one thing that's important to me is our extension service. Mark Fry.
Yeah, that's all right.
just does a tremendous job here in our community with the Cooperative Extension Service. As a producer myself, I rely very heavily on the Cooperative Extension Service here and over in Tipton, and the researchers. So those are some of the things that we'll continue to look at and make sure that we're protecting for our communities. And then as we move forward, things will pop up that communities need, and we'll be taking a look at those.
Okay, always good to see.
Always good to see you as well. Thank you.
And again, those comments as State Representative Stephen Meeks. Tomorrow we'll hear from State Representative Bill Workhauser. Again, beginning next week, we'll be hearing from their representatives weekly, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, keeping up with what's going on up in Atlanta. In Wayne County School System, School Board has a work session today at 6 p.m. at the Tech Center. On the agenda, the COVID update, capital outlay projects, also capital outlay advisory committee update. Under budget discussions, the millage rate, school resource officers. Under athletics, dedication to track and track meets. Also, several board policies on the agenda. Executive session for personnel, all that taking place today at 6 p.m. And they did update the COVID stats at the school system for the week of January 3rd through the 7th. 19 weekly positive cases in the student population and 17 positive cases in the employee population, 840 employees in the school system, 5,128 students, and 140 students had to be quarantined, 23 employees had to be quarantined the week of January 3rd through the 7th. We'll come back with some final news notes after this word from our sponsor, other commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Final notes news, race for governor is heating up in the state of Georgia. 3 men are seeking the Republican nomination, including the incumbent Governor Brian Kemp. David Perdue's entered the race, and there's still Vernon Jones out there also seeking the Republican nomination, insisting he's the only candidate that can beat Stacey Abrams. Jones brought his campaign to Jesup for a meet and greet at Damon's Restaurant Monday, and we're bringing his comments on Wednesday's newscast. But this Republican primary is getting very interesting and very nasty in Atlanta and the state of Georgia. A lot of money being spent as these 3 men fight for the Republican votes while Stacey Abrams sits back and watches the infighting with the Democratic Party unified behind her campaign to seek the governor's office. And Vernon Jones comments tomorrow here on the local news. Wayne County Historical Society will hold its January meeting on Thursday, January 13th at the Western Sizzlin Steakhouse. Guest speaker for the evening will be Mickey Deal Thomaston, chair of the J.C. Landing Authority. She'll discuss plans for a nature and history center at the landing. Dutch Treat meal will take place before the meeting at 6:15. The program begins at 7. Dues for the 2022 membership year are now due. $20 for individuals, $30 for families, $50 for business corporate memberships. Members are encouraged to attend, and new members are welcome. Again, that's this Thursday, the 13th, at the Western Sizzlin Steakhouse. The City of Jesup getting ready for their phase of the streetscape improvements. The first is scheduled to begin on West Cherry Street approximately January 14th, will be completed approximately April the 18th. West Walnut Street construction will begin approximately March 29th and be completed approximately July 6th. And West Plum Street construction will begin approximately June 15th and be completed approximately September 8th. They state the schedule is subject to change. DDA Director Molly Hall says these improvements will continue to beautify the downtown area and increase walkability. There will be periods of time where any of these streets listed above could be closed. City asks for your patience throughout the construction process. Once again, the first project is set to get underway on West Cherry Street on January the 14th. That's going to do it for the latest in local news. Sports comes your way in a few minutes. Bob Morgan, have a great day.